Hello, fellow cogs and gadgets. It's your ticking timely friend, Clockworths. So, it's been a while. Fuck, I need water. During the time I've been inactive on YouTube, a lot of things happen personally in my life that has been pretty rough. I was even homeless for 8 months going from 2022 to 2023. However, I will not be going over that in this video today because if anything, it's probably not safe for me to talk about how that happened right now. And aside from that, I've been trying to complete an animation degree at college. So yes, I've definitely been pretty busy. If you were the very few people who followed me like 3 years ago or so, you probably noticed that I have privated all but 2 videos on my channel, and there's a bit of a reason for that. And no, it's not because I'm not plural, I am still very much plural. It has to do more so with my approach and how I would like to create content on the internet. I have tried time and time again to figure out how I want to be a content creator on YouTube specifically. For my first channel, which is not this one by the way, I created back in 2015 and I was only 15 years old. And of course, I was still a minor and I had no idea who the fuck I was yet. This was, of course, before I knew I was trans, before I knew I was gay, before any of these other things about me and identities. But I at least knew that I wanted to entertain people and make some kind of impact on the world or be some kind of inspiration for somebody in some kind of way. However, trying to execute that has been a really tough process. The hardest part about doing this is trying to feel good about the content that I post, despite how much time has passed by and how much I've grown since posting it. So given I started my first channel back when I was a teen, I would look back at content that I would create and a year later I would hate it because it seemed as though every year or even every 6 months I was a different person. And the perspective and outlook that I had on this current reality was constantly changing. So I would make these videos and animations from about that time when I was 15 until I was into my early 20s. And I could never be content with the stuff that I posted as soon as a year would pass by. And I would look back and I would have the thought process of oh, why did I do that? People are probably cringing at my naivety or whatever, and I just couldn't get past it for the longest. And what really sucks is that I remember having the passion and the motivation to create these videos, and I remember how much these made me happy and how much they meant to me at the time. Yet despite that, I still didn't think they were worth being up on the internet for very long. It was this continuous cycle of creating videos, having them up for a year, then regretting it, and then taking them down and doing it all over again. And I think the reason why I kept having this issue was because I was so young and I was trying to figure myself out while simultaneously keeping up a channel or a creative platform. And to be honest, I'm always going to be figuring things out about myself as an artist and a content creator and as someone who is still pretty young and in his early 20s. And to be honest, I believe that there is a certain threshold to where someone can be comfortable enough with themselves in order to feel confident enough to keep something posted on the internet for basically forever. And something I need to do is that I need to give myself the grace and unconditional understanding that I will always be ignorant over some kind of concept or anything until I am told or educated otherwise. I will always be growing as a person as I age, and I can't replicate how I might look like or act 10 years later, and that's okay. So this time around, now that I've figured out at least most of myself, for the most part, since I've grown up a bit more, appear and present in a way that I am much more confident and comfortable in, and have also healed quite a bit over the years. I think I can finally start to make content and feel content in it staying on the internet forever, and not have to worry about looking back and being embarrassed at whoever I was in the past. I think I finally found a balance in what I want to put as videos on the internet versus how I want to engage with the internet in terms of social media and what I want to do in my personal life, like in person. And I've struggled so hard balancing those three things, and to get to this point where I feel like, hey, I think what I have going on for me right now, this is going to work for me. I know what I want to talk about on videos. I know what I want to talk about with the people and friends that I have in my real life, in my current friend circle, and what I want to engage with on social media in general. But now, after 9 years of trying to keep a YouTube channel going, I think I'm finally ready this time. I think this is going to be official from here on out. Now that I know that this is who I am and this is how I wish for people to see me, I am now more sure of myself when it comes to how I handle many aspects of my life, when before I didn't hit any of those milestones yet. I can now think about who I was a year ago, look back on that version of myself and be happy with who I was, because I knew that 2022 version of me and 2023 version of me strived to be a better person as himself and also a better person to others. And those versions of myself didn't seek to people please either, which was a really huge step in my healing, by the way. I am also healed enough to the point where I won't bully my past self or worry about what others may think of me in the past, because there's a first time for everything. And the way that I went about handling specific situations or doing certain things was the best method that I knew at the current moment and time. And I was able to do all this with the version of me in 2022 and 2023. And I am hoping that I can do this with myself in 2024 and going forward. So, in terms of plurality, along the way, I have found that even though I am plural, everyone in my circle, excluding myself, does not want anything to do with being in front of the camera or just being present on the internet whatsoever. And there's several reasons why, and each of those reasons may differ from each and every one of them. But mainly the two reasons being is that one, they are camera shy and not used to being in front of a camera, and talking in front of a camera is weird to them. And two, they don't want anything to do with external people in this current reality, or even people who don't really know me personally. And if system members don't want anything to do with people IRL, what makes you think they want to interact with people in a parasocial manner over the internet? And of course, I'm saying this all in terms of like personal experience. Not every system's going to have the same boundaries regarding like what they want to do on the internet. For me, I've tried playing around with what those boundaries were for the past 3 years, and I've just come to terms with the fact that people in my circle just don't want anything to do with the internet, and I don't want to force them to engage with videos or activities without, making them uncomfortable. Unless if they want to participate, then they'll participate, and if not, then they won't appear in any videos. My people are never going to be held to the expectation that they have to participate simply because they exist in my circle or collective as a content creator who just so happens to be plural. And in the past, I really wanted to show the overt nature of my plurality because it's not a common thing that I've seen in plural communities. And I wanted to help bring awareness to the fact that there's diversity when it comes to how systems can function and represent. Though now that I've decided, hey, people in my circle aren't too fond of the camera, I feel like my overtness and plurality would show anyway, even though they don't want to talk directly to the camera. I feel like a lot of aspects of my plurality will show by other means and not just by my people in circle talking directly to the camera. I hope that makes sense. I can still talk about the plural experiences I have as myself, and I can also explain the experiences of others in my circle for them, since they'd much rather have me do that than them say it to the camera. Which, going to that extent, to be frank, would be more than enough to share on the internet, because regardless if I'm plural or not, or anything, I'm not obligated to share anything about myself on the internet, and this is all my choice and my personal decision. And nobody is entitled to talk to a specific member or person in my circle unless if I have a say in it. And haters are gonna hate. There is no winning or solution when it comes to the game of pleasing haters on the internet. People will say that systems are faking because they have overly distinct personalities and very different aspects across every member. And on the other end of the spectrum, you will have people saying that, oh, this system is too covert and all of their members are too similar to be considered a system. So basically, there is no perfect way to be a system, according to these people. So their opinions regarding so couldn't matter any less to me. So just because you won't see others in my collective talk in front of the camera does not mean they don't exist. And on the rare occasion when they do decide to talk, that does not mean I'm creating a scenario or being an attention seeker either. And to be honest, that whole rhetoric of being an attention seeker kind of makes zero sense to me. Because if you have any kind of social media account, or if you engage on the internet, hell, even if you go outside and touch grass, I mean, socialize with people, you are doing all of that to seek attention in some way or another. And it's okay if you need attention and if you want attention, because we are human beings and we thrive off of socializing with one another. Why do you think social media was invented in the first place? Normalize the need for seeking attention in 2024 in a healthy manner. So, what does all this mean for my channel moving forward? Well, I've decided, first of all, that this is going to be a channel that is for me, by me, and it will practically be a shitpost account where I shitpost videos of all kinds of genres because I like way too many video formats and genres on YouTube myself. I have plans of doing things like video essays, ranking charts, discussing fictional media that I really like and also some of my special interests, and the list goes on. When it comes to identity politics, and I hate the fact that identity has become political in this fucking society, I will try to keep those subjects light and not heavily invest in making those kinds of videos, because as a trans person myself, I absolutely love video essays by trans people on the internet. However, I do not want to fall into that category. I don't want to make video essays trying to explain why I should have the right to exist. And as much as I like talking about my intersectionality, I do not want to be put on the YouTube algorithm of politics and, be pushed into that category. And I also just don't have the energy to talk about that stuff on the internet. My point being is that I want to focus on the fun stuff and be the influencer that makes people laugh and be a positive influence to someone somewhere in this world. And I don't care if making everything and anything in a bunch of different genres is not a good tactic for being pushed into the algorithm of YouTube. Algorithm is the last thing on my mind on why I want to create content on the internet. And I'm not even doing this to make money or even have a lot of subscribers. This is just something that I want to do for me as a hobby in my free time, and I'd like it to stay that way. And it doesn't matter how big or small my audience is either. I am making these videos prioritizing myself first and then my audience if they resonate with the content that I make. Hence, this is why those 2 videos on my channel are currently still up and not the rest of them. Those are more accurate to the kind of content I would like to create on this channel. The thing I am most excited about, however, is my plural-coded media series, which is currently in the making. And I really hope that it gains some traction in the plural communities out there. And I'm hoping that it also helps educate some singlets too on the experience of what plurality could be to a plural person or any system. Also, right now I don't plan on posting videos on a specific schedule. I do not have the time or energy to organize something like that right now. I will make and post what I can when I can, so please try and stay tuned. And with all this being said, I will be starting out this year and hopefully my official start to my channel with a new intro, just as myself. Hi, I'm Clockworths. I am an artist who has a plethora of hobbies, interests, and experiences. I am gay, I am a trans man, I am autistic and have ADHD, I am polyamorous, I am very spiritual, and I follow beliefs that mainly follow paganism and a few other elements from other spiritualities. And with all those things, I am a content creator and entertainer who just so happens to be a plural endogenic collective with gateway and protogenic origins. These minutes definitely fly by, so I will see you all again in no time.